evening, it's the SMS #1 on the #1 channel. First of all, I have to do a wee small shout out to Grandad #1, who's lent me his far superior video camera for this one, because the sheer gravitas of what I'm going to do now just can't be done on the camera that I've got. I got told the other day that all I do is moan about my camera, and I actually quite like my camera, but it's nowhere near as good as this one. This one's got an optical zoom with self doohickey and the 3x blah blah of the mega surround thingamabob. Just as an idea of perspective, in the background we've got Brawl, done you, then we've got Star Trek, oh, done you, and we've got Ratchet, done you last time. But the only reason I've got these out is because I need to give you some idea of scale, which means I'm going to be thinking on my feet quite a lot for this video. So today's subject is, and just to give you an idea, so we're stood here. This is the size, so Ratchet's quite a big one, so this is the size we're talking about, okay? But instead today we're going to do... Blimey Charlie, how am I going to fit that on the stupid camera? It's Starscream. It's Cybertron Starscream. It's mighty huge, big Mother Hubbard Cybertron Starscream. Now let me see if I can push him out of shot. Wow. There we go. So let's just do a wee little tour and spin him around a bit. I'm going to get up in a minute and I'm going to actually show you around this one, because it's just too magnificent to just sit and do sort of a normal at the table review. So there we go. Let's get up for a walkies. Right, so front of the plane, rubbery. You'll see when I transform him in a minute, these things are sort of rubbery, softer plastic than the rest of it, just to get them split apart. Nose cone, all the engines and the air intakes at the front. I've actually got nerdy enough with this before I did the review today that I went out and sat out in the garden with an old toothbrush and got all the dust out of it, because I've not played with this one very much for a little while. It's just too big, it's difficult to display, it's difficult to have out. Anyone who's seen this figure before will see crown, the Decepticon crown of Cybertron that Starscream wore for 30 seconds before Galvatron whooped his scrawny ass. Back wings, let's turn him around the other way. So as you can see, colour-wise, very Starscreamy. Grey with the red. I'm quite disappointed because loads of the Starscreams lately, especially Revenge of the Fallen and stuff like that, Starscream is grey and red, and always has been grey and red. And to have him just grey, or on a lot of the old RID or the Cybertron and that sort of stuff, to change his colour just seems a bit disloyal. So if I take the hat off, you can actually see under there Starscream's head just a little bit. See, but we'll go through that shortly. So we've got, let me put it down, putting the camera down, there we go, button there. I'm going to turn the big light off, and all of a sudden we've got lights and sounds. We all love the lights and sounds. So I'm gonna move some stuff, and I'm gonna have a go at transforming this one. But what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rearrange the camera a little bit, and I'll see how we do. Of course I would, because I'm borrowing someone else's camera and don't know where the pause button is. And we're back. I've got about 4 minutes before I have to change over, so I will check on the times. So, absolutely huge. Hi, by the way. Hi, don't get to see my face very often. Boo! So let's get busy. First thing we've got to do, and I'm going to try and do this backwards because normally I do it to my chest and, So, this is a pain in the arse because at the front of this, you've got to pull the leg sideways, as you can see him start to split there. But there are clips which sit under the nose. So you have to pull and raise at the same time. Now you can see that what I meant there, in that the front is bending. Oh, see, it's bending, and I'm a bit paranoid about them because I don't want them to bend over time, but to be fair, you don't see them in robot mode because they tuck underneath. But I'll show you that in a minute. So do that, and you get the legs and pull them out sideways. So you can see how big his leg pieces are. Now these flap back automatically. I normally start with that, but for some reason these are prone to popping off. But it makes life an awful lot easier without them. So let's ditch them for the minute. So the first thing we want to do is wrestle the legs out. There we go. Toesies, flip the toes up, and then the front spikes of the plane mode, heel spurs come out, which are inside the foot, and the toesies go in. So let's do that on this one. Flippity flop, done. The transformation on this bad boy is surprisingly simple. There's very little going on with him, to be honest. But I think what they've done extraordinarily well. As you can see, he's quite happy to stand up. This guy is seriously stable. You can whack the table and he's not going anywhere, but with the size of his feet, he was surprised. So take his wee, tuck that up underneath. Take his guns on the front. They can poke forward. We haven't got any lights and sounds yet. Nothing really activates until you press buttons. Tuck it down like that, all of a sudden you've got Starscream. His arms are under there. Take his arms and flip it forward, and the arms have got a peg there and a hole there, and they just snap in with a nice reassuring click. Same again there, snap now again. They're not on ratchets, but the joints are very definite in between the sections. And then with the arms, lovely, and we just ignited one of the sounds. So all we do is take this stuff, pop it back on, take that, pop that back on, open that there, open them up, and these go forwards and backwards. Now, I've seen some videos where they seem to tuck back an awful lot more. So unless they've done that, which frankly I'm just not really a fan of, I think, you know, I don't want to tuck them out of the way. I want to display them. So I do that, and I tend to tuck them forward, which I'm sure isn't the way they tell you to do it in the instructions. But I know nothing. So Starscream. Let's pose him up a bit and make him look a little sexy. So then, with the wings, they can flap all the way up. I don't really get this whole thing with the wings, because I think he looks really nice with the wings sticking out. He looks badass, but I do tend to... They're on up, middle, or bottom, and they do sit one or the other. So if you can bear with me, I'm just going to have a look and see how we're looking on screen. We're looking awesome, magnifico. Right, I'm going to now use the magic power of the camera. Starscream. So let's go up and down a little.